Good evening and welcome to Mutt's American Crime. I'm your host, the Celtic Mutt, and tonight we are going to discuss the man who has spent the longest amount of time on the FBI's most wanted list. That gentleman, or that man, was Victor or Manuel Garena. He was born June 24th, 1958, in Connecticut, is an American fugitive wanted by the FBI for the September 1983 White Eagle armed robbery as a Wells Fargo employee and member of the Bariqua Popular Army of a Wells Fargo armored car facility. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This man robbed the entire facility. The crime location was West Hartford, Connecticut. The crime? The then 25-year-old Garena was a trusted Wells Fargo employee and newly appointed, newly appointed um, assistant supervisor for the facility. He arrived at work as usual on September the 12th, 1983, but made a special request of his direct supervisor. He asked to park the 1973 Buick LeSabre he had borrowed from a friend, or so he said, inside of the building to keep it safe. Foolishly, the request was granted. FBI Special Agent Jeff Revell gave the following description of the 73 LeSabre. The vehicle was a 1973 Buick LeSabre, which was a full size, capable of carrying a large load of whatever that may be. Okay, this is an FBI description. He is supposed to be a special agent. I have 23 years or had 23 years in security, and I can give a better description than that of a vehicle. He left out plate numbers, he left out color of the car, he left out any identifying marks, he left out a lot of things when he was describing that. Just that vehicle alone was a sad description. After Garena and his partner had made all of their appointed stops, um, hold on a minute, I'm sorry, made their scheduled stops and had collected $3 million from banks and businesses around town, Victor and his partner returned to the Wells Fargo bank facility where he asked for his partner's gun, stating that he would check both his and his partner's firearms back in. However, once he had both weapons, he turned his own gun on his partner and the supervisor who was on duty. He then duct taped both men with their jackets over their heads to obscure their view and injected them with a combination of a high concentration of acetaminophen and water. This was supposed to have made them sleepy. However, it did not work as he had hoped. Um, he then began loading the getaway car with bag uh, bag after bag of the $3 million armored car contents, as well as the $4 million in the vault. Loading the getaway car took an hour and a half, and it is believed that Garina had an accomplice because he was heard honking the horn as if it were some sort of a signal. Both guards went unharmed and were able to work themselves free after hearing the car leave. It was at this point they phoned the police to report the robbery. The Buick was found the next day, but both Victor and the money were missing. Imagine that. Garina was believed to have gone from Connecticut to New York, New York to Mexico, and Mexico on to Canada. Garina was learned a short time later, was a member of a Puerto Rican terrorist organization known as Los Macheros, which translates to uh, machete wielders, who are a part of the Boricua Popular Army, an anti-American group that wishes to exert independence for Puerto Rico from the United States entirely. Excuse me. They're, like I said, they're fighting for independence from the United States. The robbery had been planned by Victor and 16 other members of the organization, including his mother, who was a sympathizer for the Boricua Popular Army. On October the 30th, 1983, the group fired a surface to air missile they had purchased with the cash at the FBI headquarters in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Members were quickly captured. Garina, however, was again nowhere to be found. It was believed he had escaped on to Cuba at this point. Victor was on the FBI 10 Most Wanted list from 1984 until 2016 in the top 10 slot, in one of the top 10 slots, that is. Longer than any other fugitive. A $1 million reward is still being offered in the case. He remains at large, and on April 11th, 2010, became the fugitive to have spent the most time on the list, surpassing Donald Eugene Webb, who was removed from the list on March 31st, 2007, after 25 years after his alleged death. Now, I don't know about you, but I think Wells Fargo dropped the ball on doing some background checks with this gentleman. He obviously had some ties. Of course, this was back in 1997, so I mean, it is feasible that they weren't doing the same types of background checks then that they are now. It is a different world, and I do acknowledge that. But to have a member of a freedom organization, basically a terrorist watch group, on their employee staff and make him a manager tells me that they were not doing due diligence to check their to check the backgrounds of their employees. Um, Glorina, actually, hold on. I have one more thing to read here. This is just a quick excerpt, just to kind of introduce you all. Victor Garina, born June 24th, 1958, is an American fugitive, as I said, wanted by the FBI for the September 1983 White Eagle armored car robbery. um, yeah, I've already read that part. I'm sorry. I'm repeating myself, and I do apologize. Uh, he is believed to still be in Cuba. In fact, when the missile was fired at uh, the FBI building in San Juan, it was believed that it was done by the Cubans originally, who denied it, and then later the Boricua Popular Army took credit for the bombing. So it was then, cleared that the Cubans were not, at least in that particular incident, involved in any way, manner, shape, or form. Um, it, I'm still floored by the fact that the FBI gave such a poor description of the vehicle. And I will give them credit; it only took them 24 hours to find the car, but by that point, as I said, Garina was already in the wind. So, if you have any questions, I will be happy to answer them to the best of my knowledge. I will say that I know that when what is the name of that show? The mystery show, uh, Unsolved Mysteries. That's what it was. When Unsolved Mysteries was still on the air, they did cover this at least once, I believe twice, and got very few, if any, results from the show. So, and if he's in Cuba, that kind of makes sense. I don't think that they necessarily have unsolved mysteries in Cuba. I could be wrong. I've never been there, but I'm tending to lean towards that would be a no in that regard. Um, um, as I said, his mother, and I'm just hitting the highlights again, his mother was indeed a sympathizer and was a fighter for the freedom of Puerto Rico from the being a territory of the United States. In fact, when they questioned her, she claimed to know nothing in regards to her son's actions. So it looks as if mother was ever the loyalist, and it is believed that she was one of the 16 who helped to plan the heist originally. So, if you have enjoyed this uh, quick glimpse into the man who spent the longest amount of time on the FBI's Most Wanted list, please feel free to like, share, subscribe, comment. It does help to get the message out that Mutt's American Crime is up and running now. Since I've done the longest, I will also do the shortest. And to spend time on the FBI's Most Wanted list. You will have to tune in to find out who that was. I'm not going to bring out any hints, suggestions, or clues. So we will be going live again in a few days to cover that. Please feel free if you like. I am also with my wife a part of the Mutt's American Mosaic channel. We cover Americana, and tonight we did do a crossover between this channel and the Mutt's American Mosaic channel, where we cover the Latansta heist from 1978. You can find that either here on Twitch or on the Mutt's American Mosaic channel on YouTube, or on the Mutt's True Crime channel on YouTube. All three of those are places that you can find, and I would greatly appreciate if you would like, share, comment, and subscribe to the new channel. I am really looking forward to getting to know a lot of you, and it will thrill me to no end to see this channel grow. So I'm going to say thank you for now, and to tell you to have a blessed evening. Take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I will see you very, very soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.